So 4 months ago, I published what I thought was one of my favorite videos. Honestly, of the concepts that I share in my different YouTube videos, the concepts in this particular one were the most unique, the most original, and the most interesting to me, at least. They were mental models for thinking through business and life. But what was so interesting about the mental models is that they came from the world of chess, which is a big passion of mine. And so I published this video 4 months ago, and as with all things in life and business and when it comes to content creation, the things that you love the most are not necessarily the thing that the audience is gonna love the most or the thing that the algorithm is gonna give the most love to. And sure enough, this video was our worst performer from a views perspective. Now, from a click-through rate and a average view duration, this video did very well, which meant people that were watching it were enjoying it, and I took that as solace that it was in fact a good video. But when you put your love and your heart into something and you're like, I really like that, I want it to do well, like I wanted that video to do much better, and unfortunately it only had gotten like 15,000 views after like maybe 3 months. For context, on the YouTube channel, our videos would typically in that time period do somewhere more like 75 to 200,000 views. And so it was really pulling up the rear, and it was kind of a bummer, but I was like, it is what it is. You know, chess concepts maybe don't appeal to the wider market. It's a passion of mine, and so it is what it is, and not a big deal. We focus on what we can control. We go when we start working on the next video and the next video, right? That's what we do. Well, I was reminded the other day that sometimes you're not wrong, you're just too early. And I learned this lesson yet again because that video about a week ago, out of nowhere, for no discernible reason, just caught fire. And it just did a hockey stick of growth. And in the last 7 days, it went from about 20,000 to 25,000 views to around 150,000 just in like a week. And when you look at the hockey stick growth on that, you're like, where did this come from? That's amazing. And it feels really good to see that video finally getting a little bit of love from the algorithm. But it reminded me just of that core message, which is sometimes you're not wrong, you're just too early. And often the only thing that is the difference between whether an investment is good or bad is simply the time frame in which you measure it. And the example that I often give is if I bought a house, a duplex tomorrow, and in the first year it produced, say, $10,000 of pure profit cash flow, you might look at that and say that was a good investment, right? But what if in year 2 the roof caved in and now I need to invest $50,000 to fix that? Well, there goes my profit, right? So now if you were to measure, is this a good or bad investment? At the 2-year mark, you would say that wasn't a very good investment. Now you've lost money, right? But what if right after I finished that roof, somebody approaches me and they offer to buy that house for, $100,000 more than what I paid for it? Well, on that day, you might look at this and say, well, this is now a good investment, right? So simply the time frame in which we measure the quality of something is often more important than the actual, the objective reality of that thing. And when it comes to content creation, the thing that I like to remind myself is that on a long enough time frame, like you have an infinite time frame in which to let time do the heavy lifting. And so whether or not something hits in the first month or in the 6th month, if you're putting out quality content, there's always a chance that that can take off in the future. And so going into that and trying to control the controllables and control the input and make it as good as you possibly can is the most important thing. And then what's gonna happen is gonna happen. And it might be today, it might be in 2 years from now. But as long as you keep showing up and putting out the best content that you can, then you can rest easy at night knowing that you have done everything within your power. But just don't get too hard on yourself because again, it might not be that you're wrong, your product, your content, your idea, whatever it is, it might just be that you're too early to the market and it just needs a little bit more time for everybody else to catch up. So I hope this brings you a little bit of solace if you're out there and you're struggling to get some traction right now, because that happens to us all in this game of business. But that's gonna do it for me. I appreciate you guys being here. If you've checked out that video, if you haven't, it's called the 5 mental models. What is it called? 5 mental models that'll transform your business. I can't remember what it's called. It changed from the original title, which was The Art of Thinking Strategically, which is still my favorite title, but didn't perform as well. So Go check that video out. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you in the next video, guys.